this and they tried to compare with the experiment, it did not match. So there was a huge difference. So therefore, the next theory came. Here, rotor is flexible, but massless. Okay, rotor is flexible but massless, and its support is rigid. Bearing is rigid. Okay, that means there is no stiffness damping of the bearing. So this is basically kind of a simply supported. Okay, so this rotor is flexible, that means it can bend, so it can change the shape due to vibration. And this is a point mass, this is point mass. Okay. By that what will happen again, and disc is centrally placed, so that's a total mass of the system. We consider total mass of the system as m or 2m. Okay, then you can calculate the stiffness of the beam. Okay, from your solid mechanics approach, you can calculate the stiffness of beam. Then this case is again similar to here. This case is also a 2 degree of freedom system at bearing location or at this location, it doesn't matter now. Okay, where you have your actually mass 2m, you know the stiffness of the system. So again, this is same 2 degree of freedom system, but the stiffness is not from the bearing, it is from the shaft. So this is called Jacquard rotor. So this model was slightly better than the previous Rankine model, where rotor is assumed to be rigid, but in this case the rotor is flexible. But whatever you do, these things you can solve in pen and paper analytically when you have 2 degrees of freedom or not much complicated things. But in reality, these theories are not helpful in real situations or in industrial applications. So people generally don't use these theories now, because now you have very good computational facility. So people generally now go for solving the problem numerically. So in rotor bearing system, now we'll study FEM, finite element method. Okay, for okay. So finite element method that we'll use to study the dynamics of rotor bearing system, and this predicts quite accurately the nature of dynamics of the system, and which also quite close to all experimental studies. Now you have to now see these things very carefully, because whatever I'll be doing now, I'll ask all of you to do a program in MATLAB. Okay, you have to generate a code in MATLAB for solving these rotor bearing systems. So see carefully. If you get any doubt in between, you ask me, then we can discuss. Okay. First of all, a rotor bearing system. Let me show you. Okay, all of you, can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So basically, if you see here, now in this slide, if you see in the slide, this is a typical rotor bearing system. Very simple. Okay. Now we want to do the modal analysis, or dynamics means we have to find out natural frequency and then modes as well as FRF, on-balance response, all these things. Okay. So all these things we'll do using finite element analysis. Now in this rotor bearing system, you can see that the rotor is divided in certain number of nodes or elements. First of all, elements, and then you have a disc, and bearing is modeled with stiffness and damping, as we discussed already. Okay. Now there are three things here. One is the bearing, another is disc, and the next one is the rotor. There are three elements here. So individually you have to model these three elements. Okay, I think we are back. From yesterday, we are experiencing some network issues in IIT itself. So that's why it is disconnecting. I hope now you can hear me.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as I was telling, there are three elements: bearing, disc, and rotor. All these three elements we have to model separately and then assemble it as a system. And as a system, we'll solve the equations for the system, that is whole rotor, disc, and bearing. So let us go one by one. See, this is actually the rotor. So how do you model the rotor? So let me tell you. First we'll see the rotor. Okay. So as I have shown in the drawing, just take the rotor, no disc, no bearing. So this rotor will be treated as a beam element. Okay. So from beam theory, we will find out the stiffness and damping and mass of the rotor. Now this rotor, in any numerical study, you have to discretize it. Okay. So we'll discretize it with number of elements. Okay. So this is element number 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, 5, 6. Okay. Now these are the element numbers. Then what about these nodes? This is the initial node 1, this is node 2, node 3, node 4, node 5, 6, 7. Okay. So that means if your number of elements, let's say number of elements, element is 6, then you are getting the number of nodes to be 7. Okay. So whatever your element number, suppose let us say I, you will get node number as total nodes as I plus 1. Okay, or n number of elements, so total node will be n plus 1. Okay. Now when you divide with element here, so take any element here. Now you have to study one beam element. So this is just a cylinder, one beam element. So beam element is having element number I. So node number will be I here. Take any element I. Node number will be I here. Right side it will be I plus 1. Suppose imagine element number 3. So left side node number is 3. Right side node number is 4. So ith element will have left side node number I. Right side node number I plus 1. Okay. Now for any system to be discretized, first we should see the number of degrees of freedom or the coordinate system. So any body in space is having how many degrees of freedom?
6.
6 degrees of freedom. So fundamental 6 degrees of freedom, x, y, z. Then rotation about x. Okay. Rotation about y and rotation about z. Okay, let's say theta x, theta y, theta z. Fine. So out of these, you see a typical rotor bearing system. Okay. Out of these, okay. Out of these, if you see a typical rotor bearing system, okay, then the rotor bearing only vibrates in transverse direction. So rotor bearing system generally doesn't vibrate in longitudinal direction that much. Okay, that means suppose here x direction. For this case, it is along the length of rotor. So if it is so, then vibration in x is very small, which is negligible. Okay, and theta x. So what is theta x here? So here theta x. Yes, please go ahead.
Speed.
Is theta x dot. Okay, that is actually omega, spinning speed of rotor, right? So this is not actually independent or fundamental degree of freedom because this speed is provided by you when you run a rotor bearing. Understood? So therefore, these 2 degrees of freedom will be of no use. So rotor is subjected to vibration in transverse direction only. So therefore, we have 4 degrees of freedom. 4 degrees of freedom for vibration of this system. Okay. So now, if you see the beam element, in this beam element now, we will have 4 degrees of freedom. So what are those 4 degrees of freedom? Again, let me draw the beam element here. This is IA beam element. This is I plus 1. So what I'll get, like x is not there. Okay. Ax and theta x is not there. I have only 4 degrees of freedom, that is y, let's say z, rotation about y, rotation about z. Okay, so this thing is not there. So similarly, left side, I'll have Z, Y, then rotation about Y, rotation about Z. Okay. So 4 here, 4 here. So now if you go for numbering it, let's say, so in general, I'll number it. Okay. So here 4 things you'll get, that is Y, I, Z, I, theta, Y, I, Z, I. These are the 4 you'll get. On the right side, you'll get similarly I plus 1, Z, I plus 1, theta, Y, I plus 1, theta, Z, I plus 1. Okay. Clear? So sometimes people also prefer to write, because order you can change. Y, I, then theta, Z, I, Z, I, theta, Y, I. Similarly, the right side. Okay. So basically, we have a beam element which has 2 nodes. A beam element we have which has 2 nodes. We have 4 degrees of freedom per node. So total for this beam element, so total how many degrees of freedom we have for this beam element? Now particularly for this beam element,
8.
total we have 8. Okay. So if you want to write the equation of motion for this beam element, okay, let's say mass of the beam mx double dot plus ch dot plus kx equal to 8. So this x is your generalized degree of freedom. Okay. So this x will have actually all these for for left node as well as for the right node. Okay. So that means this x will be having what? This is actually x for the beam element. For this particular only one element, these are 8 degrees of freedom that we are going to evaluate. So that means if you see the mass matrix, what will be the size of the mass matrix?
8 cross.
Yeah. So for the beam element, everything is 8 cross 8. Okay. Now, from beam theory, you can find out this from the beam theory. We can actually take help of any book on beam theory. Okay. Then you can get the thickness and damping matrices for this beam. So before going to that, we show you. Still I am unable to share the window. Let me share the screen.
So excuse me, sir. So your voice is coming very low.
Yeah, I'll come to that. 1 minute. Let me share. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In this 1 minute, okay, this is the beam element I was talking about. Okay, so is my voice clear now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the beam element I was talking about. Okay, you will find these, the formulation is available in many of the books. Okay, so first of all, in this beam element, as I was discussing, left side I have just written node number 1, right side node number 2. Okay, so this is basically element 1, let's say. So all directions are shown. Okay, so double arrow sign is for rotation. Now this equation written here, mr plus mt, okay, and u is actually x, whatever x I was writing, that is actually u. So u is actually 8 here. There are 8 values for u, and then you have b minus omega g, then you have stiffness matrix kb minus ka, and then u equal to your force f of this element. So subscript e stands for element. So now see each and every the terms here. So this beam element, there are two beam element theories, Rayleigh beam and Timoshev beam. You might be knowing already, Rayleigh beam and Timoshev beam. The theories are slightly different. Rayleigh beam theory you can use for thinner beams where the diameter is small, but with larger diameter, so your rotational effect has to be considered as well as shear correction factors. So therefore, Timoshev beam gives more accurate result as compared to Rayleigh beams. So this is the formulation for Timoshev beam. Now MR is the rotational mass matrix, MT is the translational mass matrix, KB is the bending stiffness of matrix. Okay, K is the axial stiffness matrix due to axial load. B is damping, so B is considered here damping. Okay, and G is the gyroscopic matrix. Okay, so gyroscopic matrix is always associated with speed, which is omega. Now in general, U is ux, here it is written ux theta y uy theta z. Okay, is generalized degrees of freedom. So total we have 8. So therefore, each matrix here will have 8 elements inside. See, these are the matrices. I will forward you these slides, and these matrices are there, so you can take directly these matrices for your program. Okay, so I have given here MT, MR, KB, KA. So if you see these matrices, these are all only dependent on geometry and material. Okay, so depending on the geometry and material property, you can very well find out the values for these matrices. Now next is your KT as well as gyroscopic matrix. Okay, so these are all matrix, whatever I mentioned, I have provided here. These values you can take directly into your formulation. Okay, so now let us discuss how to assemble this matrix. Okay, so coming back here, So what we got there, like in general, we got their mass matrix, which is 8 by 8. Let's say stiffness matrix, combiningly B minus omega G is your stiffness matrix, damping matrix. So you can combine that, add individually element wise and then combine that. So it is 8 by 8. So mass matrix also you can combine both rotational as well as translational. And then you have stiffness, also you can combine bending and axial. So it is 8 by 8 matrix for the element. Okay. For what element? For this element. For this element, you have 8 equations. Now, in this particular problem that we have taken, we have 6 elements. So what you have to do? First, for all these 6 elements, you have to generate mass matrix, damping matrix and stiffness matrix separately for the 6 element. Okay, separately for the 6 element you have to generate. That means for element number 1, let's say M1 equal to 8 by 8 matrix. Element number 2, M2 is 8 by 8 matrix. Element number 3, M3 is 8 by 8 matrix. Something like that. Okay, so generate up to M8. Similarly, generate C1 to C8 and K1 to K8. Okay, so first you generate it and store it. So in finite element analysis, individually you are generating the mass, stiffness and damping matrix. So do remember, like in our FDM, finite difference method, we took this delta x, whatever delta x, these things are same. But here you have the freedom to choose different value of delta x for all elements. So I can go for a division like less here, and this element is larger, this element is smaller, and this element may be smaller, and this is very large, something like that. So that I can always do. And further, if you see the generation of matrix, the left side view, it is actually the cross section is a circle. So it may so happen that rotor can be a stepped rotor. Suppose a shaft like this, stepped shaft. Okay. So diameter here, diameter here, diameter here are different. So D1, D2, D3 are different. Okay. So it doesn't matter. If that is so, then you can take whatever element you are taking from here to here, you can take diameter as D1. From here to here, you can take diameter as D2. From here to here, you can take diameter as D3. So when you generate actually your element matrix, this 8 by 8 element matrix, so there in the matrix generation, you have to insert the geometry as well as material property. So accordingly, you insert the geometry, you will get your matrix generated. So separately you generate all these matrices. Okay. Now next thing is we have to assemble it. Okay. Make global matrix. Okay, global matrix for all these. So this is very important to know. How do we make global matrix? So it is easy. If I now change the naming here, you see here I have written in terms of I and these things. Okay. So while doing program, it will be easier for me if I write this. A generalized coordinate like Q1, Q2, sorry, Qi, Okay. Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, Q7, Q8. Okay. So these are Q I am just taking. So if you see this rotor bearing system, if I make a global matrix, can you tell me how many degrees of freedom I will get total, or how many equations I will get in total if I make it global, if I assemble all the elements? Can anyone?
For six
Yes.
element, 28 by 28.
I'm not talking about element now. I'm talking about now global, doing a global matrix for complete rotor. I have generated now 6 element matrices, right?
7 by 7.
7 by 7.
So 28.
28.
28.
Yes. Let me mention. Wrongly, I told that it should go to C8. It is not K8, C8 or M8. What I can see, it is actually up to 6, right? There are 6 elements, right? In our example, there are 6 elements. So 6 element matrix, you will generate 8 by 8 each. Now, if you make it global, then total degrees of freedom, as I told you already, you have 4 degrees of freedom per node. Now you see there are 7 nodes. So 7 into 4 equal to 28. Okay. Global matrix, whatever you will get 28 into 28. Clear? Now let us see how actually we can combine. In what way we are going to combine? So if you want to combine, you should combine this way. Let me write. Okay. So in the matrix, global matrix, you will get 28 columns. Also, you will get 28 rows. Okay. Let's say up to 28 you will get. So 28 rows and 28 columns. Fine. So now element number 1. So your mass matrix or any, see, globalization will be same for all. The technique is same for all. So I'm just explaining in terms of mass matrix or stiffness maybe. Okay. So the matrix for element matrix you are having, let's say stiffness you are having 8 by 8. So element number 1 will have generalized coordinate Q will be having Q1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, element number 1. Element number 1. So for that you have this stiffness matrix. So what you can do, straightforward, bring that stiffness matrix, put it here. Okay, just 8 by 8 matrix. You bring here, put it here. Understood? So in the global matrix, you put this K from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 column and also row 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fine. So now go to the second element. In the second element, if I see the second element, element number 2. So what is the number of Q there in the second element? Can you tell me the number Q in second element?
Said 8.
So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
Yes,
11.
yes. Actually, in element number 1, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, 5, 6, 7, 8 here, right? Left side 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you see the element number 2, in the left side you have actually 5, 6, 7, 8. This is same as right side of element number 1. And in the right side of element number 2, you will have 9, 10, 11, 12. So Q value will go from 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Clear? So in that case, now bring the second element matrix, stiffness matrix, let us say. So where to where you have to put? Now you have to put in the column 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 as well as row 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if you do that, then you will bring the thing here. Okay. Understood? It is something like this. See, this is stiffness matrix of element number 1. This is K1. This is K2. Okay. Similarly, if you are going to put for element number 3, so element number 3 starts from left side 9, 10, 11, 12 and ends at 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So in element number 3, it will start from here. Okay, it will go up to 16. It will end here. This is element number 3. Okay. So this 8 by 8 matrix for elements, now you put in global matrix. So this way you go on doing, and then you should be able to end everything at 28. Okay. Any doubt? So this is very important, otherwise you cannot generate the global matrix. This is very systematic. It's not that difficult to do the program. It is very systematic. Okay, any doubt so far? Okay, so fine. After this, what you'll get? You'll get your global matrix M, C, and K. So this is 28 into 28. All are 28 into. Okay, this number is obviously number of nodes into 4. So you have your global matrix for the rotor. Now you have assemble the rotor. Now next thing that we'll see, that is for bearings. Okay. So as given here, also we discussed already. Okay. So bearing are acting at the nodal points. You have to always consider bearings and disc are only connected at the nodes. So then they will have how many degrees of freedom? Only 4, because they will be treated as connected at a point. So there will have 4 degrees of freedom. So for 4 degrees of freedom, you will get 4 equations for bearing as well as 4 equations for disc. And disc is considered to be rigid disc. Now in this case that I am showing in this slide, so you get 4 directional stiffness matrix, damping matrix. If you consider the bearing to be massless, then there will be no mass matrix. Normally it is the mass is very small as compared to the whole rotor bearing system. Now disc is a point mass which is heavy. You have to consider the mass of the disc. So here M is the mass matrix of the disc and G is the gyroscopic matrix of the disc. So for disc it is a point mass, there is no damping, but damping comes from gyroscopic effect. So omega is multiplied to it. Okay. Now we'll see how to assemble these two into the global system matrices. Okay. Okay, now let us see how we can make the global system matrix. Now as I told, let's say disc first of all. So disc is having 4 degrees of freedom only. That 4 degrees of freedom for according to us is actually y, theta z, z, theta y. So these are the 4 degrees of freedom. At what node? Based on the node, the disc is attached. So if you go back and see the rotor system we considered in the drawing. Okay, so disc was at the middle. Okay, so disc was at the middle. So here the middle is the 4th node. So you have to consider, depending on your system, you have to consider a node there where disc is present. So luckily we have a node there. So at 4th node, I have to add the disc, 4th nodal point. So if you see in the global matrix, 4th nodal point referred to what? Can you give me the number, the 4th nodal point in the global matrix? Row number and column number.
Sir, 13, 14, 15, 16.
Very good. So that is what the 4 nodal points for that for that node. Okay, 13, 14, 15, 16. It is very simple. If I am asking you to give me the 4 nodal points at 4th node, then just multiply 4 into 4, 16. The end point is 16. So that means you have to start from 13. 13, 14, 15, 16. Fine. It is very easy. Now, my disc is having these, and for our case, it is actually 13, 14, 15, 16. right? And the disk will have mass matrix, or your gyroscopic matrix will be having 4 into 4, 4 cross 4, that I have shown in the slide, 4 cross 4. So you should add these in the global matrix. Now just M or K, whatever, or C, whatever available. So what you can do, you can bring that here, add in 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is the 13, 14, 15, 16, I hope, yes. So this is the 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So this is 13, 14, 15, 16. So this is the disk matrix you add. Disk 4x4 matrix you add in the stiffness as well as in the damping or in the mass, whatever value available, you add that, particularly at that node. Okay. So imagine if the disk is not at the center, if the disk is at node number 2, then in that case you have to add this 4x4 matrix at 5, 6, 7, 8. If node number 2, then it is at 5, 6, 7, 8, row and column. Okay. So we have added the disk here. Now next comes the bearing. Bearings. So there are 2 bearings. So 1 by 1 you have to add. So bearing is also having 4 by 4, 4 into 4 matrix for mass or stiffness or damping. Okay, whatever. It is having 4 by 4. Again, very similar to your disk. It is also having y, theta, z, z, theta, y. Okay. So based on bearing node number, you have to add. Now for our particular case, bearings are mounted at the end. So the first bearing, so bearing 1, you have to add at first end. Okay. And bearing 2, you have to add at the second end. So you have to generate this matrix, 4 by 4 matrix for bearing 1 and 2 based on the bearing properties, and then you add at node number 1. So if you want to add at node number 1 the bearing, this 4 by 4 matrix, whether it is for stiffness or mass or damping, you add it here. So this is B1, bearing 1. Okay. Similarly, at the end, you go to the end, add bearing 2. At the end, you will have 28, 27, 26, 25. Okay. Column and row also 25, 26, 27, 28. Okay. So by this way you make the global matrix. Now after this, whatever matrices you have the global matrices. Okay. And then next step is to go for solution. So for solution, we'll discuss in the next class how to solve these equations. But in the meantime, you can start doing it. I will forward you the slide. You can take the density, everything for mild steel. Take a rotor length, okay, like a shaft. You take a shaft of 1 meter and maybe diameter of ½ inch or 1 inch diameter. Proportionately, you take the disc, and for bearing, you have to just assume the stiffness. Forget about damping. When damping is not there, just put it 0. And for bearing, you take some stiffness value. Okay. So you can start with that. I'll give you more detail in the next class. So any doubt so far?
Sir, if we take 7 element for the rotor,
Yes.
so then,
7. What is your doubt?
sir, if we take 7 element in the rotor, sir, then the disk will be at position 4 and 5th node, sir. Then how will take it?
You 8 elements. How does that matter? It's up to you.
Okay.
See,
Yes.
element is to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
7 elements that I am doing right now, 6 elements right now, so that it is easy for me to actually show you. Otherwise, I can take actually 15, 20. Okay, right now I am doing very crude meshing. You have to refine the mesh based on the solution. Okay. So further also I told that element length can be different. Even you take 7 elements, you can change the length such that one node will come at the disk point. So that
Okay, sir.
is also possible. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So okay then, next class we'll further see how to solve this problem.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, I have a request that before any next test, could you perform an advance? Could you tell us in advance, because we already have so many subjects and tests and
That
all
is
the
not
dates are fixed.
See, whatever I conducted, we conducted, that is not something like test. Okay, don't worry. Actual
Okay,
test.
sir. Yes,
That
sir.
is
So something in
that is like
advance until.
that is like a tutorial solving class. Of course, it is having some mark, but it's not that high mark. Don't worry. It is like solving tutorial in class. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay. So then we'll meet in the next class. So that is all for now.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sir, till when do we have to post that notebook which you are which you had mentioned?
You should reach me before 14th April.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
So, sir, are there any more assignments that we need to
Yes,
write, because it will take some time?
Don't worry. 7 days before you can post it. I will give you some more assignment in the next class.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So thank you. So we'll meet in the next class.